Hello, everybody. Welcome to another one of our live mini events. My name is Naja Dukawi. I am the con chair and project manager for GOASIcon, aka Geek Out of Staten Island. So this is one of the many episodes that we'll have for this series called Creator Talk. So basically, you guys will get to know the vendors, the creators behind GOASIcon, and know a little bit about them, about their products, a little bit about their journey as a vendor, as well as maybe have an opportunity to buy some of their cool stuff because they got some pretty cool things going on. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to invite our first Creative Talk panelist here. Miriam.
Hey
Hello.
guys! Well, thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you for being our vendor. Thank you for also being a part of our team. I have a lot of different questions that I want to ask you, so hope you're ready.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
bring it
And
on.
and those of you who don't know, her little company name that she has is also called Staryoo. So make sure you check that out as well. And let me bring up our first question. By the way, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Sorry, I kind of in a little rush, but everything's pretty good.
All right,
Um,
awesome. And I'm loving
Excited.
the background. I need to do something about my background so our
Mhm.
audience members don't see the poo poo caca.
Exactly. That's the
that
whole point.
is
you know.
that is my room.
hmm
So the first one I'm gonna pull up, I'm gonna bring it down below. So the first question I have is like, what type of art do you do?
I guess the type of art I do, it's like a lot of it is like anime, manga based. Um, a lot of the things I sell, like my prints, it's like kind of traditional work. It's a lot of like line ink drawings, but lately I've been delving into more of a digital drawing. Uh, it's kind of graphic-y. I can't really. It's kind of hard to explain, but simple. But I use a lot of like bold lines. And I think lately because of what's been going on just around the globally and stuff too, I've been kind of doing a little bit more political art at the same time, try to do a little bit more activism through my art. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you
Mhm.
for sharing that, right? Because I've seen your work personally, right? So I see
Mhm.
the bold strokes that you use. You can also see it in like her logo that she has for Star U. And I do like the fact that you do try to incorporate what's going around in the world with
Mhm.
your artwork because not everybody does that. So the next question that I have for you is how did you even become a vendor? Like what made you think like, you know what, I'm gonna start vending? Like when did
Mhm.
that idea come about?
Oh man. Oof. I could try to recall my thoughts. I guess like it's a long journey. I think for me, it's like I did art. Well, like for school, in career, I did graphic design, but I got a lot of comments from professionals, and they're telling me, based on my portfolio and the work I did my work, I'm more of like an illustrator. I think that my issue and problem with that was to get a professional job. I didn't have a lot of experiences or connections for that. So I had to find different alternatives to figure out what can I do with this career I have and like, my I guess like passion for drawing at the same time. Um, so I think for me, I was just like walking around and just checking out like, I think checking out conventions, and I had a little like midlife crisis, and I was just figuring out like just looking around the different conventions, and like I think for me also I was volunteering for Comic Con, and I was like one of the crew members. I noticed also with the art alley, people would sell their art and all that. So uh, I don't know, like I was like maybe I should just try something like this. But then I think for me, I just started a little bit like little by little. So I started from this like really small convention, and it wasn't like art alley or anything. It was just like uh it was kind of like this like low key, like it was kind of like morally more most for like vendors, like people who already have like stores, and they sold like kind of vintage like gaming stuff or something like that. And I was like, maybe I could make an artist alley with this, like just sell like some of my art stuff. So I just kind of did it from there. Like I kind of forgot, it was like a Brooklyn something, it was somewhere in Brooklyn. It was really something low key. And then slowly I kind of went to I think my actual biggest art style I went to was Brooklyn Comic Con. I think that was like, the biggest one. That was like, a really good experience for me. Yeah, and then I just kind of like did more from there. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. And sorry for my viewers and sorry to Miriam you. I have birds, so they love competing with my voice. So I may midway put on my headphones, just try to quiet the sound a little bit. It doesn't do much, but sometimes it muffles them. So just fair warning to our viewers. So you were talking a little bit about your journey, right? Becoming a vendor, going to smaller conventions, going up, you know, then gradually going to like Brooklyn Comic Con. I've also seen you, I believe, at PowCon before. You've done stuff, I believe, at Anime NYC as well. So that's a pretty big con. So was that journey like hard or easy for you? Like, how was that experience going from like smaller to bigger cons as a vendor?
I mean, it's not like really easy or hard per se. It was just like a progression, I think, you know, slowly happened. A lot of it is what helps out with the process, I guess, is doing more research because it's a lot. It's like I didn't even realize like as I was doing the same time, like I was like doing business and doing entrepreneurship. I can't even say it. Entrepreneurship. I was like, I didn't even know that. I was like actually just doing that until like my friend was telling me, oh my god, like you're an entrepreneur, and I was like, wait, what? Like, because it's like I had to recreate this whole like branding I had. Like I had to figure out like my identity as a like doing this business, a small business I already have. Even my name Staryoo, like I was just like trying to figure it out. Because to be honest with you, like I'm not like online. I have a lot of weird names. Like I know some of my usernames are EX Ninja 123. Like it's kind of one of those like back in the AIM days type of thing. Yeah, it's just I think you realize I kind of had to like also I think what the hardest part for me actually was like just I think making those hard decisions like hey like okay what's my name gonna be like is it gonna be Staryoo or is it gonna be something else and then I think really I think for me like just deciding for myself that okay like I'm gonna just really pursue this and when you pursue it it's like kind of going 100%. I had to just keep going and yeah I think like slowly it got easier because also like I think once I started to table more and I think it depends like I think it's like people should also like take the initiative of like networking. So like I try my best to just network, get to know people, especially because if I'm gonna be tabling, like I'm gonna be probably seeing the same people over and over. It's like the people in my community, so it's good to know everyone, right? Yeah, and that's how I got to know you too. So like just tabling, got to just talk to you. Also yeah, joining also in the Geek Out for Staten Island, like that was a cool experience too, just to meet everyone from the Staten Island community. So yeah yeah I think it's just like a lot of it that it's just like I think it's really just getting really involved in like community and I think for me it wasn't that like a bad it wasn't that hard for me. I think kind of came naturally as I kept doing it and just like also because I love like all the geeky stuff like anime and all that gaming. Yeah it was awesome. It's just fun. I think it's just really fun. It was kind of like an adventure for me.
That's awesome. As we know, anime can be about anything, and there's totally someone making an anime right now about that whole process, how to become a vendor at conventions.
Yeah.
And with that same question, right? Because I know you said it wasn't really hard for you, it came for you naturally, right? So I know that we've had conversations like personally, but also too like outside of that. Sorry, these birds, man.
That's cool.
Actually, you know what? Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get my headphones. I'm so sorry, viewers.
Yeah.
Just hold on.
It's all good.
Ignore my background.
Little intermission. Yeah.
I'm gonna close out my camera real quick and then.
Oh, okay. Hey guys, I'm just gonna chill. Hope everyone's enjoying this talk. How's everyone doing? So yeah, I don't know. I wish I could do something entertaining. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Hey.
There we go. I hope it's a little bit quieter now. I'm so sorry, guys. I just wanted to make sure you guys can hear the important things that Miriam has to say. So Please excuse me. That was a little unprofessional.
Ah,
Um,
right.
so yeah, as you can kind of see with the little ticker at the bottom, like we've talked a little bit about like some struggles and frustrations that vendors have had, or that you've talked about with other vendors. So is there any like pitfalls that they've had, or like struggles that they've had, like when you talk to other vendors when you go to conventions, or everything's like, oh, hunky dory, like no
Um,
complaints?
yeah, it depends. I know I'm not gonna mention any convention names. But for sure, like if the turnout isn't great, I guess it's just hard. I think some of the yeah, even for me, like the complaint I would have is like, if like we pay for the table and we don't meet that, we don't meet to like pay for that pay out for that table either. Because it's like it's not really like anyone's fault, but kind of also like maybe it's more like the convention's fault, like just not having the right like I guess like marketing and all that, or the right amount of people to come through. Thankful for me, Geek Out wasn't that for me. Like I think we have a good experience with that. But yeah, there's like a couple of conventions. Usually it's the smaller ones that doesn't work out well, or sometimes but it's also kind of the thing I think also like as offenders, like it's good for us to figure out our niche, what we're more into. Because let's say if I table for something else like sci-fi, or I don't know, like we're something with like D&D or something, like it's like nothing related to anime that I do. So obviously like the turnout for that wouldn't work out. So I noticed like I was kind of just playing around to see how like I guess like if it's gonna work out or not, and I realized like my niche was suited for certain conventions, and I was like, okay, like yeah, something like it's good to like figure out with the interest of that. And another hardship for sure though, for the terms of vending is like I think it's good to have like people to help you out, like assistances. I think for me when I try to do it by myself, it's just like really, really difficult. Yeah, it's like I think like carrying everything, all the loads is a lot harder to do by yourself. And I think also like for me, like, I don't know about other vendors, but like I'm pretty sure even other vendors actually talk with them actually too. It's like I think we were trying to prep up and set up for everything, so we ended up being super tired. So it's also kind of nice to have another friend around just to like help you kind of like I guess sell other people like your products and stuff. Be that business person kind of thing. Yeah, so yeah, and it's also like also bathroom breaks. It's kind of easier to have someone around to help you with that too.
No, I have seen plenty of vendors at different conventions. Just like I can see the drain coming from them because they haven't left their table for like 6 hours. They haven't eaten, like they have to like tag team it. All right, you go and I'll use the bathroom and get food, and then and come back, or they have to like close down their table in order to just do any of those things, and that in of itself can be a struggle at a convention because like quote unquote time is money, right? So on to like our next question, right? Do you think anyone can be a vendor for like a con or an event, or do you think there's something special that you have to do or have to be in order to be a vendor? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think technically anyone can do it. It's just it's up to them if they want to make a smart decision, if like how you want to go about with it. Like if you want to be in terms of like successful, right? Like I think that's a different criteria for sure. There has to be like you have to be have a certain like interest and like certain products you make, right? It has to be very specific to I feel like what you're passionate about. It kind of shows, like people will see that. I think like to stand out, it's like a great trait to have to be successful. But yeah, technically anyone could really do it. I mean, it's just but it doesn't mean that it's gonna be a good turnout for them. Yeah.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because like even sometimes like at certain conventions, like you were talking about before, right? Like you may go to a sci-fi convention, but most stuff you do is anime, right? So you may find some people there that also like anime, that are also into sci-fi, but they're coming to that convention specifically for sci-fi stuff, right? So you may get unintentionally bypassed because of whatever the main like theme is of that convention or of that event is. So it's always good to kind of be strategic with where you place yourself, where you advertise yourself, and put yourself in different forums. So that's some good advice there, Miriam.
Yeah. I think also I'm
Um,
saying this because, like, you know, I didn't expect
mhm.
myself to be able to vend at all. Like, literally, I had like zero experience of any type of business. Like, I was just like figuring it out on the go. So I was just like, man, like, really, anyone can do it. If I can do it, I was like, man, anyone could really do it. Yeah, seriously. So,
No,
yeah,
that's true, right? So for all those who are been second guessing themselves this entire time, don't second guess yourself. Because if
seriously,
Miriam
yeah.
says like she's like, if I can do it, you guys can do it too. You just
I
need
also
a
let you
little
know I'm really bad at math. So all the, you know, like all that. I also like finances. It's like I don't really check it as much as I feel like I should. But you
Mhm,
know, I mean, like if I can do it, I mean, I just kind of do it as like a passion hobby thing. I mean,
mhm,
if it's kind of fun. I mean, I just kind of do that in that purposes. But if you actually, I don't know if people want to do it for in terms of finances, that's something to really think about. Like as like a strategic, really think you have to really invest in it. And
mhm,
I think that's like I don't really do this for like in terms of like finances. It's kind of my passion type of thing. So but
mhm,
finances, if you want to do it for like, oh, you actually want to get money from it, that's something to really like you have to really plan it out well.
mhm.
Because a lot of it, I kind of lost a lot of money. Like the investment I
Yeah.
put, because I invested so much into making all these like products and the time I put into it, not really worth it to be honest. But I just I love doing it. I think for me, it's like that's aspect of meeting people, the community, like
Mhm.
that like drives me, and also like all the geeky stuff, anime. Like I just love it. So yeah,
Yeah, no, I see the passion as you're talking about it now. So even if it's not something for finance, it's still something you enjoy and it still gives you something out of it, right? Like you talked about like networking, being involved more with the community, being more of an advocate. And that actually segues us to our next question. Like, so what has it been like trying to be an advocate and an artist at the same time? Because I've seen some of the stuff that you do and I've seen you sell certain things that like a certain percentage will go to the foundation or different things
hmm
like that. So how has that process or how has that journey been, kind of switching to just being an artist, selling your anime geeky things, and then
hmm
kind of slowly switching over to being more of an advocate, talking about more things that are going on in the world and attempting to make some type of change?
oh yeah, ooh yeah. I think for me, it's like, oh man, I guess like doing my art to advocate for like all these like causes around me, like it's kind of like my way of coping with all the angst I have with all the issues in the world. Like, you know, I'm just so angry. I'm like, man, why is this happening? And yeah, to be honest, if you kind of like for me, like I did more investigation, and you know, if people probably already know, like a lot of it, like it's like all these nonprofit organizations are helping for these
Mm-hmm.
causes, and unfortunately, they're not getting enough money like that they
Yeah.
deserve. They need a lot of support, a lot, and it's just like, you know, I think for me it's just like, man, like I know just not everyone's really into it, and for me, like I'm just like, man, I kind of want something to like, I want people like that need help to get the help they need.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I don't have to, you know, I don't personally for me, I don't know the specific resources that how I can help someone else out, you know, but these organizations can do that for me, and they do need the money, so um yeah, I think for me it's just it's not to be honest with you, like the art I do, I don't really receive as much. It kind of depends if it becomes viral or not. I know where for one of them, one of my like art pieces I did for Black Lives Are Precious, that did
Mm-hmm.
really well, like because that went viral.
Yeah.
Yeah, that went. I actually like, yeah, that donated about thousands of dollars to like this organization that was for sex workers,
Mm-hmm.
and another one for shoot, I forgot what's one of those bail funds.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that did really well. But yeah, but it kind of it depends if it goes viral or not, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I know like they really need that help, and for me it's just like I think doing more research, and I realized, oh man, like there has to be more like art or something like that needs to be like, I feel people need to be more aware of like what's going on, because I noticed like I noticed with art, like it's like a tool that we can use to help have people like empathize better, you know, it's like it's a
Yeah.
powerful tool, and it's like a way to express what's going on too. So um yeah, I don't know. I'm also like kind of figuring it out for myself too. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
not really into politics to be honest with you, but I'm like kind of getting into it more lately.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, I don't know. My thing is like there's more that needs to be done, and it's just my way of just doing that for myself. So and kind of for people around me too.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah.
Thank you, Miriam, for doing that, right? Because like every dollar counts, every step counts. You know, we never know who we will inspire or encourage with the actions that we do.
Mm-hmm.
So even if that person maybe didn't donate that day, they may donate tomorrow. They may put together a rally or a protest or different things like
Mm-hmm.
that, or they may put together a petition and different things. You know,
Yeah.
so you doing that type of stuff does really help, and you doing that in something like art, which has always technically been political, right?
Mm-hmm.
In something, like anime or anything else geeky, technically has involved politics, has always involved, good guys,
Right.
bad guys, this side, that
Exactly.
side,
Yeah.
and if you want to learn some more about that stuff, check out our last video, which is about POC and comic books, because we talk a little bit about
Mm,
politics involving
yeah.
that. So what I'm going to do now really quickly, because I have a couple of questions actually from our audience. So we're going to
Okay.
hear a little bit from our audience. So I'm going to bring up our question here. This is from Caitlin Spinelli.
Oh.
So what Comic Cons did you find you were most successful at, Brooklyn or PowCon?
For sure, Brooklyn Comic Con. Yeah, I think it's because of the name Comic Con. I know there's a lot of attraction for that. Because
Mm-hmm.
I know PalCon, it wasn't too much. So, but I know Brooklyn Comic Con, there was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of the interest too, like there's a lot of people that are really interested in anime.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a pretty good turnout for Brooklyn Comic Con.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Thank you. All right, we're going to bring up our next question. Of course, our dear and true Cheyenne. Based on the type of illustrations that you do you find it easier to sell fan art or your original art? That's actually a really good question.
For sure, fan art. Fan art, yeah, fan art, because that's like obviously people could relate with more, and people know fan arts. When it comes to original, it's more like obscure, unless it
Mm-hmm.
probably if I'm famous, and then like maybe if like it blows up. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that hasn't happened. So, fan arts for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So if any more questions come up, I will bring it up. So what I would
Mhm.
like to do is I'm actually going to share my screen because I want to show you guys where. Oh, wait. Is there another question?
Yay,
Ha 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 ha.
questions!
Yes, we do. All right. See, people are fascinated. So what
Yay.
attracted you to anime as a fan and as a personal style? And are there other art styles that you want to work in slash develop?
Mm. What attracted to anime as a fan? Oh man, like I started. I mean, I don't know. This is going to the roots now. Like I don't know. Like I got a long story, but I'm gonna try to condense it short as possible. But yeah. I mean, I think for me, anime, it's similar. Yeah, you're right. Like it's kind of like it is very political. I think what really gets me is like the kind of like that shonen genre of like
Mm-hmm.
you have the good guy and then they fight evil or the bad stuff or the corrupt system or people,
Mm-hmm.
all that, right? I think for me it's like always like if you think one example is like Naruto, it's like a lot of the characters, protagonists, they have very relatable stories. I
Mm-hmm.
love how they're usually outcasts. Like, I could
Yeah.
relate with that person a lot. Yeah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And but it's like they're usually also that person that's like kind of like the underdog, right? And I could really relate with that too. Um, but like kind of like when you see them like rise to the top, and there's a lot of it is like through like hard work, through their own integrity of their character, which is like I
Yeah.
love that too. And like I feel like when you see that kind of randomly too, like but when you see the world around us, a lot of people don't live by integrity at all. They're really
Mm-hmm.
dishonest people. So like I think for me, when I see like I look up to a lot of anime characters because I'm like, yeah, I want to live by that way. Like I want to live an honest lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And also like in terms of like having friends and going through all these adventures with your friends. I really respect that, and I noticed in reality it's like really hard to actually have that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. Part of me, this like hopeful side of me, like I know, like there's people out there, and I'm slowly seeing, yeah, that there's friends around there like you can trust,
Mm-hmm.
and like you kind of build towards whatever goal you have in your life, right, or your calling, or whatever that is,
Mm-hmm.
your dream, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. And then, yeah, so as a personal style, like yeah, it took me a while because like it's like to be honest with you, like I didn't like. I think back then, like, you couldn't really make a career out of like doing all the fan arts and anime and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think like like a couple of years, like 3 years in, I kind of owned up to okay, I'm gonna pursue this anime style, because yeah, I could make a living out of it, kinda, or hopefully, I'm hoping, um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then for the art styles I want to develop, I kind of like. I don't know. I kind of like. I usually like. I love like the edgy art styles. Something edginess. I kind of hope to make my like line work kind of more bolder, kind of more like I don't know, like kind of look. I just keep saying edgy, but like I want my characters to look badass and cool. Like I think that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Awesome. I'm excited to see more badass, cool looking characters because
Yeah.
you do a pretty good job on that. So what I'm gonna move on over to is I'm gonna just share my screen because I want to show you guys actually where you can find Mary Muse stuff like on our website, right? Because she's one of our vendors. She's also our vendor coordinator as well for the convention. So talk to her about
Yeah.
things. Yeah. So I'm going to just share my screen because this is something that all vendors get once they register. And I also put the registration link in the chat as well as below. When you guys sign up, you get your promos, right? So you get free promos from the time that you sign up till the end of the convention. You're on our website the entire time. You also have stuff like this, right? So you can take an extra like $10 out if you want to be on something like this, like vendor talk, so that way people know more about you, right? That know kind of like the things that you're doing, what you're doing, not only on as a vendor but as a person, right? Because we do see the people behind their products. So I'm gonna just quickly share my screen. So as you guys can all see, we have our lovely screen here where you can get your tickets, vendor applications, panel applications, cosplay contests. So if you go to where it says vendors, it should be within vendors 2020. It's loading. My computer is slow. My computer is slow. Whoa, 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 whoa. I apologize. I don't have the best Wi-Fi. So, okay. So see, these are some of the vendors that we had last year. But if you walk on over here where it says Staryoo, right? So it shows her Instagram, it shows the type of stuff that she sells, and you can even click onto her website and it goes directly to her. Whatever sales they make, that's on them. We really want to support that. And as you can see, she look at a cute little website. It's on Store Envy, sorry, pop up. Exclude, right? So you can see some of the stuff that she does, like with Inuyasha, Cowboy Bebop. We have some more Inuyasha here. We have some Demon Slayer, Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, Yu-Gi-Oh, Sailor Moon. So these are all the different types of things that Miriam Yu sells. She even sells pins. Again, charity stickers for Yemen, charity stickers with a heart. Like, you'll know which stuff is for charity to try to go and support. Because she tries her best to not only be a vendor but to also give back to the community, because that's important to you guys, because like we're in this together, so I'm just gonna quickly stop sharing my screen, and I do have some more questions for you, so one second. Cool. Right, because I think it's really interesting how vendors decide like which ways to branch off, right? Whether they decide to do posters, pins, stickers, keychains, different things like that. So for my next question that I have, it'll pop up. It's taking sweet time. Is like, what made you think to do like the type of products that you have, like the posters, like the stickers, like the pins, like what made you think of something like that? Was it like popular? Do you feel like it's easy for people to get? Like, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think for me, well, it's kind of more the default thing, but that's like usually the go to usually the prints, the stickers, pins are kind of different. But I think for me the pins specifically, when I say the pins, it's kind of like the enamel pins.
Yeah.
It started because like I had a couple of friends, artist friends that did bending or artist alley. they did pins. They're really into it, so I kind of got influenced through them. Yeah, it's like, and I kind of got addicted to it, to be honest with you. Like I was like, I was like, oh man, this is like so cool. Like, and it's kind of like having a piece of art, but like more longer lasting compared to paper because it's like metal.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I like about pins. Yeah, but I think for me, it's also like terms of, well, especially for the prints and stickers, like the cost is a lot cheaper compared to other things. I don't really do posters. That's something I'm kind of looking into. Maybe, I don't know. It depends. But for the prints, yeah, it's just a lot. It's like cost effective in terms of also like carrying it to the conventions is kind of easier too. So yeah, I also think about like if it's is it accessible or easy to carry around with me to the convention. That's also really something to really think about too. Because I have a little the travel carry bags or whatever, and now I'm like, I gotta fit all this in this little thing. So yeah, to think about that.
Yeah. No, that's true. You gotta be not only cost effective, but make sure you can actually carry all the things that you get. And I think that's not even just vendors, but I think that's every con goer, right? Like we go there and we're like, okay, I have to be able to carry all the stuff that I buy throughout the whole convention, or I can try to attempt to make space and time towards the end of the day to buy a whole bunch of things and hope that the thing that I saw at the beginning of the day is still there.
Yeah.
And hasn't gone out the window. But it's the same thing for you guys where you're like, okay, if I bring 100 of these, or if I bring 50 of those, like, and trying to, I guess, like, map out what you think is going to sell, right? So in terms of that, like, kind of staying on the same topic, like, do you like what types of products for you sells the fastest or sells out the most?
Oh man, well, like it's kind of different in terms of when I do it for like the actual conventions. Like, prints usually do better for me. But for online, it's kind of like a mix between the stickers and the pins. Yeah.
Okay.
But usually the stickers are kind of usually more popular, in my opinion. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, stickers are easy to kind of place. So that makes sense. And then moving over to our next question. So do you feel like your fan base is local or international / national / international? There we go. Or both?
Kind of both. Yeah, I mean it's weird because like, I mean, it depends like when, because I've been doing also like the live streaming. So that brought a lot of like international like fans around me because people want to support and yeah, especially when I'm doing Twitch because I kind of live stream in different weird hours. So like I would like find people from Japan or people from like UK or something, and so it's like pretty interesting actually. But yeah, also I think having also Instagram like brought more of international audiences too. Yeah, but yeah, when it comes to a lot of, I think, but I think the majority though is mostly like local. I think, because it was like, yeah, usually like, from the conventions that I vended around.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, and we actually have a question from the audience. Again. Oh, again, I love it, Cheyenne. As an activist, speaking as an activist myself, what role do you find yourself doing more to bring awareness? For example, I focus on educating people. And they said, sorry, if this question sounds oddly worded, it doesn't.
No. Yeah. Huh. I don't really know. I mean, I think, well, I don't really know what the specific word is. But yeah, I've been kind of doing things around in terms of activism. Like, I mean, definitely doing my art. I think that's kind of a little bit like education in a way too. Like, I think it's like kind of bringing more of this like awareness of just these causes that are happening around us. I don't know. I don't know if it's like I don't know the right terminology for this, but like I love also doing storytelling, like sharing like stories of like people around me, like what's going on, like especially the victims of like different things that's been happening. It's good. I kind of wanted to show that too. But yeah, kind of like outside of the art, kind of saying about activism in general too. Like I've been also like just trying to talk to my community around me. Like I do a lot of different group chats. Like especially what's been happening with like the Asian, the anti-Asian attacks, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, oh, especially in my Asian community, like Asian American community, like kind of have more conversations with them, like to see where
Mhm.
they're at. Even outside of that too, like different POC communities, like like having chats, even with you, Naja, like we were talking,
Yeah.
we're just like, I think supporting our communities and coming together and building bridges. I kind of wanted to just do more of that. Um, and yeah, I've been attending some rallies and protests around. And also like kind of going political. I've been kind of going political too, so I think I've been helping out a campaign nearby in Queens,
Yeah.
because we kind of had to also help the leaders, like elect the right leaders to
Yeah.
fix the system around our countries. So I've
Mhm.
been kind of doing that too at the same time. Yeah.
Okay. So that's nice to know, like, not only about you as like a vendor, like, okay, she makes really cool pins and like she does this and she does that and like her art's amazing and like all this, positive stuff about you as a vendor, but it's also good to know about you as an individual and also like, as an up and coming, activist for things that are really important, right? Because you talked
Mhm.
about how you did stuff for Black Lives Are Precious, in
Mhm.
Korean, and how you were trying to help organizations like that. You're trying to help out with stuff with stop, hashtag Stop Asian Hate, and
Mhm.
how much it affects your community as well as how much it can intersect and affect other communities as well.
Mhm.
And I think that's really commendable, and I'm a little proud, not gonna lie, because like it's not something that you typically see a vendor necessarily doing or
Mhm.
talking about. So, and we may
Mhm.
or may not see more of those things like that as we go to different conventions,
Mhm.
as more cons come up throughout the year.
Yeah.
And so my next question that I have, because I have a lot of questions for you for this
Oh yeah.
interview. Again, my laptop's being a little slow, so the question will pop up soon.
Mhm.
Is what is like the next convention that you have on your mind that you plan on attending or vending at?
Um. Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't really think much about it. um, but for sure, I definitely well, like for Anime NYC, I did a virtual convention, but I
Mhm.
think for Anime NYC, if I can, like that's like something I want to shoot for sure. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, awesome. And with that too, like how was it vending virtually? Like how did that experience work?
Oh yeah. Um, yeah, that's interesting. I had a lot of different experiences with it. Some of the virtual ones are just like the websites,
Mm-hmm.
which I personally don't love, to be honest. It just doesn't really bring a lot of like awareness or interaction
Mm-hmm.
with like the people, the audience or the customers around us, or people that just love the geeky stuff. There's like no
Yeah.
interaction with that whatsoever. Um, I had this one cool experience. It was called Angelicon. What they did was
Ooh.
yeah, they did like a whole like Discord server. I think other conventions had it too, like using Discord, which is pretty popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so just having that and like using like the server as like a chat room space for people like I guess like people like I guess the convention like goers to go
Mm-hmm.
in and just to interact. And the interactions are usually just like voice chats, or sometimes they'll have like the video like live video on, so they could stream
Mm-hmm.
some stuff up. Um, so it's kind of cool. Like if you need to announce something, and like sometimes they'll like announce through the live video,
Oh,
which is pretty
nice.
cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even like I noticed even with like your voice chats, you can also like play games together, like you play a
Mm-hmm.
game and you talk through the through the chat. It's pretty fun too. Um, yeah, so I think that was like a little bit more interactive, and also with the Discord too, you could actually like similar to like a chat room type, or like a kind of no more like a forum type of thing. Like you could
Yeah.
write out some stuff, right, and then post up images. So yeah, I think from there like you could like, you could kind of like add more of your, I guess, personality to your
Yeah.
like online shop in a way. Um, so yeah, I think that was like more effective, but definitely it's not the same though. Like in terms of actual
Yeah.
the real convention and the virtual convention, it's like not the same for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm gonna be moving on to the next question.
Hmm.
I wish I had like background music, to just like pump it up. Um,
Mm.
So the next question I have, because I know that you did our convention last year, right?
Mhm.
And technically you did it during a pandemic
Oh
because
yeah.
2020, that's all I'll say. 2020.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
how was that experience vending in person
Mhm.
during a pandemic?
Mhm. Yeah, to be honest, I loved it. I loved it. And also talking to the other vendors around me too. Like, yeah, I think like we all needed that. Even like all the convention goers and like the cosplayers, we were like talking. We were like, man, yeah, this is like we all were craving the all the conventions because all the conventions were all canceled. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I haven't seen any like outdoor conventions. I think like I think like Go Ashy it was like one of those was like outdoor
Mm-hmm.
conventions. Like I didn't really see any of that from what I've known. So yeah, it was kind of like I loved it. Like the environment was like the having the open like field area was kind of nice. You get some fresh air. You know, it was a nice day. Get some sunshine. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um and we I think doing all those safety protocols like having everyone like doing that 6 feet distance around we had hand sanitizer everywhere, everyone wore
Yeah.
masks. I love that. It was it felt really safe for me. I was like, yes, this is like I was just so pleased how everyone's doing all the safety protocols because even when I go outside like just to be in the streets, like people don't wear masks, and like here in
Mm-hmm.
the convention like everyone's wearing the mask, so I was like I appreciated that 100%. um yeah. But yeah, it was just yeah, definitely I think for I don't know, for me, like yeah, I haven't been able to interact a lot. I just craving that like convention fever or something. I don't know. It's just like I was missing that. And yeah, I think having that outdoor convention really yeah, it was great. Like so I just felt something, oh, I just really needed this. And I know for other people too, that they just really needed that. And I know they came like they commuted from different places around just to go
Yeah.
be in that convention too. So yeah, that was like amazing to hear too. Um
Okay.
yeah.
That's good to hear, because like we try our best to hear from you guys. That's why we have this creator talk, right? That's why we have vendors like yourself, and other vendors will be coming on like in the coming weeks and months to hear from you guys about like what your thoughts are and how you feel at conventions and what we can do not only to make sure that you guys get, what was it, your bang for your buck or whatever the term is,
Mhm.
like the most out of what you're paying for, because we do know that you guys are working hard, blood, sweat, and tears to try to do some of your products, and it's your passion and something you care about, and we try our best to have it where you feel safe in the
Mhm.
spaces that you're in, you feel cared for, and you also make your profit, right? Because yes, it is fun, and like you talked about before, it's like a hobby. It may not be something that you right now, like you're talking about, like is your main source of finance, but it may be somebody else's main source of finance, or it may help you just not be in as much debt
Mhm.
as you might be talking as a person and doing their masters, right? The debt is just coming for me. It was just guaranteed the minute I entered. um so I just want to bring it over towards our final question. Let me bring it up. Do. 1 second. Might have to get myself a new laptop because it is not
Yeah.
my friend. And if anybody wants to write anything in the comment section too that you have as questions or anything you want to highlight, please do so. We love interacting with you all. Um, so my last question is what piece of advice would you give somebody who is wanting to become a vendor, not sure
Mhm.
if they become a vendor, or if they tried but it wasn't really what they thought it would be? Like what piece of advice or advices plural
Mm.
would you give somebody like that?
Um, I don't know. I would say like I guess if you're questioning if you should try it or not, I think just go for it and try it. I don't know. For me, I never regretted it. When I just like I was like figuring out, hey, should I just try it?
Mm-hmm.
I think especially if you're yeah, I don't know, like I feel like if you're an upcoming artist or like you want to do something with your art as a career, I don't think there's anything wrong with vending. It's just yeah, I think like once you keep doing it, you kind of go into this rabbit hole of like oh, this is kind of fun, and then you keep doing it. And I think yeah, honestly, if you're into all the geeky stuff, I'm like, why not? Like, why don't you just put that passion into it and get some finances at the same time, and you can, which is like the plus of it, um it kind of comes like naturally in terms of like how everything comes together. I think that will come naturally if you're passionate about all of that. um yeah, and for me, I kind of forgot to mention this too, but like in the
Yeah.
beginnings can be super hard in terms of like I had a lot. I mean, for me, like I have even though I don't look like it, I have a lot of social anxieties. And I have a lot of anxieties in general of just starting something up. So I think honestly, like if you just overcome all of that, everything kind of becomes easier, and you kind of get, it's like kind of when you're training for the beginning, it's just gonna be really hard and sucky. But you're gonna slowly learn how everything goes, and it becomes a lot easier in that way. And in terms of your anxieties too, like it becomes easier. You get to, I think for me, like what's really cool and fun is like uh really breaking out myself out of the bubble and meeting the people in the community, and interacting. I just realized, like, as I kept doing it too, I kind of became more as an established artist because of that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, I'm just kind of doing this as a hobby, and then I think once I kind of like made that decision for myself, hey, like I really, why not? I'll just give it a shot. Like maybe I could actually make a career out of this. And I'm still in this process of it, to be honest with you. I'm still figuring it out. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like I mean, also like, it depends. Like some people are they have like family members that could, like support them. For me, I kind of don't. So what I do is like I have a part-time I work at Starbucks. I do I think I get finances somehow, like so like I think be smart about that too. If it's like, if you want to make it happen, and if you actually do want to make it happen, like yeah, do the hustle of that. Like work in the jobs that you need to do, like get the finances you need to do. And there's other ways to go about with it too. I know people are also doing Kickstarters, doing GoFundMe's. I kind of had to do that for myself too with the GoFundMe's to get certain equipment. So if you need to do that, do everything you can to do that. But I think, yeah, like it's nothing wrong to just try it out. And I think I was like even talking in terms of simple things, even though I don't really know entrepreneurship or business, but like I know for sure though, like you have to invest and take that risk, and from there, like I said, either you fail or don't, and then at least if you fail, like this isn't the right path for you to go, but at least like you won't regret anything,
Yeah.
like at least hey, like I tried it out, or if you don't try at all, then like maybe you had a potential, and you're just wasting your potential. And it sucks because it's like, oh, I feel like in the community we should know you if you're around here, it'd be nice, yeah.
Yeah. No, that was very inspiring. Thank you, because it's like, you never know how much potential you have, right? You never know what is going to spark your inspiration, spark your creativity, spark your passion, right? Something that you've been thinking about for a while. You're like, I don't know. Even though there are like thousands upon thousands of different people at conventions, right? That have all different types of art styles, some doing the same fan art because we have waves of popularity, all those different things, right? But it doesn't stop any of them of still going to giant conventions like Anime NYC or Comic-Con, or even smaller conventions like Brooklyn Comic-Con, PowCon, PucciCon, different things like that, because they all started from somewhere, right? They all started potentially in the same spot that you guys have started at, or where you're at right now, contemplating and thinking about whether or not you should take the next steps, right? And the best thing, like Miriam was saying, is to just do a little research on how you want to start things off.
Right.
Do you want to just start off where you get a whole bunch of products and you go to a convention and you really feel like you have something niche to sell? Go ahead and do it. If you want to just start off doing something online, selling stuff off of your Instagram or on Etsy or any other website, Redbubble, any of those things, just to get yourself started, to see if anybody will take a bite. There's nothing wrong with going for your passion, and like Miriam said too, like if you don't try, you won't know.
Yeah, right. Oh, I
you
kind of wanted to add to like
Mhm.
because we're in this age of internet and like everything's like information so accessible. So actually, why I learned a lot through YouTube videos. I researched a lot how to make stickers, like even with the pins. Like I just like watched YouTube videos just how to do it, and that's free. Like I know sometimes we have to pay for to get education, but now we're in this, and it's like everything's free. So everything's online. Everything's online. So yeah, I know sometimes like sometimes I even know like from even in terms of artists and like all that, like people ask, oh, do we need to go to school? And school kind of does help out too, but also like we can also use the internet. It's like everything's accessible, it's free. It's like also like it's kind of in the day if you want to put the hard work into it or not. um and I'm still working on it. I'm kind of lazy to be honest with you too. Like I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to work on that too. But and also another thing too, it's also good to invest in the right equipments. And it's like a hard thing, like it's like I think kind of see things in the long term, even though it's expensive. A lot of equipments are expensive. Like long term, like it could really help you out with like in making the process easier, and you actually save a lot of time, and time is money, right? So like one example for me too, like I bought an iPad, and I know I should be saving up, but like I was like, man, like everyone's been like a lot of artists use iPad to create their art. And I was like, it's kind of pricey, but I was like, man, like now that I have the iPad, I was like, wow, I should have invested in this like a long time ago. Like it's just like saves so much time. Like I've been using other like crappy systems, and it was like the loading, similar to what you're going through now. Like it's like the loading of everything. It was just like so crappy, and then I was like, man, I wasted so much time and like a headache too. So like the mental energy of that too. So um yeah, like yeah, I think it's like think about that too. Like in terms of even I don't think sometimes people think about even like the mental and emotional, your health of that. Like it's like
Yeah.
important to um take care of yourself in that way too. Um
Mhm.
so yeah.
Yeah, no, you brought up that was actually a really good ending point as we're getting closer to the end, right? Like as you try to build yourself up as a vendor, not even just as a vendor, if you're doing a podcast, if you're trying to open up your own gallery or do something in a museum or start your own event or some type of rally, protest, community, something, right?
Mhm.
Any of those things, right, are all stem from like creativity, passion, uh this flow of energy trying to find its place.
Mhm.
And you have to also take care of yourself. Talk to myself first and foremost, right? You have to take care of yourself during that process, right?
Yeah.
Are you in a good place mentally or physically to be chucking massive amounts of products everywhere? Are you able to keep up with the different finances that might be involved? Do you have like people that may be able to help support you with
Mhm.
that? Do you have the time to try to dedicate that, right? Because
Right.
I am lazy too. I am a resident lazy person. Though
Yeah.
people may not yay lazy people. Um, lazy people advocacy. No. So I have those moments where I am really lazy. I don't want to do
Mhm.
anything. And I
Mhm.
also have those moments where I have to stop being lazy and do the things that I'm passionate about because I know it'll make me happy. And at
Mhm.
the end of the day, it'll also make other people happy because it affects and involves other people with the type of work that I do. Same thing with Marion, with the type of work that she does, right?
Right.
And I think everybody can see when an artist doesn't enjoy what they're doing,
Mhm.
right? They're just shelling out print after print at image after image, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, how to say this? Maybe like I shouldn't use the term lazy either because like it's kind of going psychology in a way too. But like sometimes too, like I think the burnout is so real a lot of times, so
Mm-hmm.
it could come off this laziness where like you don't have enough energy or strength to do something. So that's why I also saying self care is important because yeah, like maybe you're doing way so too much and you're not actually focusing on maybe the things you really need to take care of because you're just focusing
Mm-hmm.
on your energy on other things that's like not really needed. Um, so time management is also the real key of things, but I'm also figuring that out to be honest with you. um, yeah, because yeah, there's a lot of priorities. We should figure out the priority. I'm still figuring that out to be honest. I'm doing all this like like activism stuff, and I'm like, man, do I really need to be putting certain energy into this area and that area? And then I'm trying to like I think like slowly I'm trying to figure that out too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I think it's like maybe lazy isn't the right good term either, because I know like
Yeah.
for some people too, like I think I'm pretty sure for both of us too, Ashley, like we do a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's just like mentally and emotionally, like that's why we need to take care of ourselves too, because we get
Mm-hmm.
drained out with the
Yeah.
burnout. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I agree with like putting an X on like laziness, right? Because laziness seems like you're purposely not trying to do anything.
Mm,
And I think a lot of us, especially during, the pandemic, and kind of going back to just trying to do stuff that you're passionate about, which is what you talked about, what helped you become a vendor. And I'm sure as we have more of these creative talks, maybe the same reason or similar reasons that other vendors have took that path, it's not because you're not trying to do anything. Your just body just doesn't have the energy for it, right?
yeah.
Or just you just kind of need that first push or that first moment, right? Kind of like if you're not a morning person, but you have to get up in the morning, like you dread getting up and
Yeah.
trying to do it, and you're just like, oh, I don't have the energy to deal with this. But once
Mhm.
you get up and you get moving, your day is already going, and especially if you are involved with a lot of different things, it's not as so you're not trugging along so much
Right.
once you have it going. So
Mhm.
what I will put up last is our lovely Mary Mew, aka Staryoo's info right here.
Mhm.
Right, so you can check out her Instagram at Staryoo. You can also check out her Facebook, Staryoo, and we showed a little bit about her website.
Mhm.
So https
Mhm.
staryoo.storeenvy.com.
Mhm.
Am I missing any social media sites for you right now?
Yeah, so I kind of sorry. I mean, I still have the store envy, but I updated my
Woo.
my store the shop
Yep.
link,
Let
so
me.
it's actually Big Cartel.
Big Cartel.
Yeah.
Got you. So it's Big Cartel slash story Staryoo.
See, staryou.bigcartel.com.
Got you.
Mhm.
Staryoo. See, and this is why it's important to talk to your vendors, because this is
Mhm.
just recently updated. Big
Oh yeah.
Cartel.
And also, like,
Boom.
I still have the store envy also, but yeah,
Boom.
that's like
Big
the main
Cartel.
go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the
thank
main
you.
go-to is Big Cartel. Okay. Sounds gangster. Um, but I wanted to say thank you so much, Miriam, for coming on and taking this time out to talk with us, taking this time out to inform our audience about you, the things that you do in the community, as well as a vendor, and also just giving people some advice of what it's kind of like from your perspective anyway, of what it is to be a vendor and how to go about vending, and just talking a lot of things that are really important, like self-care, time management, money management,
Mhm.
which at the end of the day can help make or break someone in any type of profession. And we do we did have a really quick comment that I thought was very funny. I'm going to bring it up.
Mhm.
Mike Gilbert says, I could get so much more done if it wasn't for the lazy. And I love the way that it's worded, for because
Yeah.
it sometimes is kind of like a monster in a way when we
Mhm.
think about it, right? In that terms of laziness, where it's like the lazy, the monster,
Wow.
the boogeyman, right?
Mhm.
Kind of taking over, looming over us, where it makes it kind of hard for us to get things done. So I want to say thank you to our lovely audience that is watching our live. I want to say thank you to our future audience that's going to watch this video later. And I hope everybody has a great night. Eat some good food, have a good sleep,
Mhm.
and enjoy the rest of your weekend, because it was really beautiful today. All right, thank you
Mhm.
guys.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.